liked to wear really bright Hawaiian shirts, generally orange. And then he would wear shorts and dark socks. And I was explaining to my son this week, and I said, why do you wear the dark socks with your shorts? It looks so stupid. And he said, Dad, it's so in. You have no idea. So, Joe was just a little ahead of us in a good time. So I asked Jim Rapp, who was up here just a minute ago, and he was telling us a story about Joe came down with these really fashionable orange flip-flops, as you might imagine. People were laughing and commenting, and it was business attire, but you know Joe. So, and Joe says, well, that's nothing. And he reaches down and pulls it off and grabs a beer, and there was a bottle of it. Don't think that was the first time Joe's ever used that bottle of beer either. Another story was sort of around in the early days, and this was well before Medtronic. You thought budgets were tight then. Evidently, we were a little tight on funding for beverages. And Joe took one of the distributors out to his station wagon, which I think was your business car, and said, I got to show you this mason jar full of moonshine. So I cut the rest of that out, because there's a lot more of that story, but we're not going to really talk about it. So, Joe's built an incredible team, and just a couple of comments from some folks. Clark Charlton shared with me some of his favorites from First Choice Medical, and you could probably all live by these. The first one is that on a car purchase, these are sort of rules of the road for Joe. On a car purchase, First Choice Medical is a blue-collar distributorship. Don't drive a BMW to your hospital. That's rule number one. We probably all live by that. When dealing with conflict or differences in opinions or stories, the truth is out there somewhere. And if you know Joe, you're in search of the truth constantly. And this is one of my favorites. I'll probably use this again. Complaints about quota assignment. This can be solved by growing the business. You guys want me to repeat that? That's a good one. I love that one. So, Joe believed in the following, which again, I think we could all live by this. Hire the best, pay and treat them fairly, communicate frequently, provide challenges, incentives, and rewards, believe in them, and get the hell out of their way, and they'll knock the socks off you. Which are really good rules, I think, for the other themes, and Joe, I'm paraphrasing here, but others that came up were around your leadership and your commitment to honesty and integrity and respect. Many of you maybe don't know this or do know this, is that Joe is a nurse by background originally, and maybe there were some questions about one of your colleagues said, can a nurse actually sell? I think in the stats that I just showed you, pretty much demonstrate that fact, but I told Joe I spent about 10 days with my father, and who was in a hospital, and for 30 days, and I said, I just have an entirely different appreciation for nurses, and I think, that integrity and that honesty and that caring for the patient and wanting to do the right things, I think it's all true, Joe, and getting a better appreciation for what you developed as a team and what you passed along. I want to just comment, Paul said that being a great leader, a mentor, and a friend, Joe's one of the most passionate and honest guys I've ever known. He's real, and I think for any of you that have spent any time with Joe, you would know that as well. Todd commented as well that your generosity is pretty remarkable, and as we started to look at transition plans for the distributorship, that was pretty apparent to all of us at Medtronic, but not only to your employees, but you're also very generous in a number of ways. You have a foundation through the College of Nursing, which you've set up, I believe, in your father's name. You are very philanthropic. I'm learning a little bit more about you as you call me about some things, and you're private about that, Joe, but I think it really demonstrates your character and who you really are. And Doug Kraft, I think, says it well in a comment. He said, look, at the end of the day, it's not necessarily about historical charts or sales quota achievement. Gave me a quote from Winston Churchill, which I think fits pretty appropriately here, is, we make a living by what we get, and we make a life by what we give. And I think Joe's a classic example of giving 28 years to Medtronic the commitment that he's made to his employees, to patients all over Tennessee and Missouri. And Joe, we couldn't be more appreciative of what you've done. And I'll tell you, it was an absolute horse race, and I mean by a photo finish in this last year is who was going to win Distributor of the Year. And Joe, you left your distributorship in fantastic condition and shape. We're pleased as punch to have your employees with us today. So I just want to thank you again, Joe, for everything you've done.
Are you gonna go up there? Right.
You want me out?
I was telling Joe that we don't have an actual award that captures 28 years worth of service and commitment, but we did put this together to just sort of symbolize our appreciation for you, and it's got the Medtronic mission on here of alleviating pain, restoring health, and extending life. And Cindy, to you, I know Joe's also a fantastic father, and behind every great man or every great woman is a significant other, a spouse, and to put up with this guy, we want to recognize
Looks like I could have a few minutes to speak here, so I'm going to get some things off my chest. Start right now. First of all, what a great honor for me and Cindy and our family. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Brent. Thank everybody for asking us to come back here and doing it. And also thank you, Whit, for talking me into it. When Whit gave me the call, I told him that, yeah, Cindy and I'd come down, but we had to have the honeymoon suite here at the Hyatt. Well, they didn't. I don't think it's the honeymoon suite. It's close enough that I'm starting to get performance anxiety. Anyway, I want to start out to thank Sandy and thank her two sons, Jason and Josh, for all the support for all these years. I could not have done it without them. And pull that down a bit. Looks a little better. Y'all look a little better. I'm not even going to start trying to thank everybody at Medtronic. I don't know where the list would begin, the list would end. I started and there was 2 people inside, and we were selling soft goods. And the biggest seller of the soft goods lines we had at that time, Doug, were restraints. So we were trying to keep people in bed, and now it's gone to spine. We're trying to get people out of the bed. So it's come full circle, and it's never a dull moment. I also got to thank from the bottom of my heart everybody at First Choice Medical, from as Jim Rapp said earlier, everybody inside the office, everybody outside, especially all the managers got here. Chuck Fordhouse, Todd Peter, Paul Bynum, Chuck Foster, who's in a different type role now, but still with the organization, and especially Clark Charlton. We've gotten nowhere without these guys, and so fortunate that I was able to con them into coming on with me. I also want to thank my mother and dad for, first of all, having us, and I want to also thank my mom for having me and my damn crazy-ass twin brother, who I deserve more licks than she ever gave us, and if she decided to kill us during our childhood as we were growing up, she would have been acquitted of all charges. I've had a couple people ask me, hey, when it's time to retire, and there's no way you can describe it. Everybody's got their own point of level of pain threshold and everything else. And when it's your time, it's your time. I just want, and I love you, Mikey, and all my friends from New York. God bless you. It's been a big few weeks for here in the Emmerich family. Our oldest son, Jason, who's in his last year of law school, got his first book published. And it's available on Amazon. Under Jason Frederick Emmerich, and I know there's at least one or two people in this room that want to find out everything there is to know about the aspects of Jamaican constitutional law. They're out there, I know. Please buy it. Our young son Josh was also quoted in the April issue of Eat magazine. He has a little startup in New York City, and they worked with Pepsi and Kraft Foods and NFL and EA Sports. And his big quote is, you don't want to fail on this when it's a big customer like this. And say, well, that's pretty damn. Don't want to fail anywhere, especially with a big customer. I'm probably taking more than 2 minutes Doug was going to let me have. So far, so good. It's these last 4 or 5 pages when it gets real.